You know? So starting over, it says, and they're going from us to be utter destruction, but they are in peace. For though they be punished in the sight of men, yet is their hope full of immortality. All right, that's the same thing that happened in Romans 8. You know, we are made immortal through our hope, through our faith. You know, through the works that we bring with us. So you might destroy the body, all right, but we fear him that destroyeth body and soul. You know, we don't fear those that can simply just destroy the body. We fear those that can destroy the body and the soul, man, which is Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahushai. You know, that's who we fear. We know what we believe in, for salvation is of the Jews. You know, these people don't know what they believe in, man. They don't know what to believe in. Buddhism, all right, Muslim, Christian, Catholic, and then you have like 20,000, you know, different religions, man. People don't know what to believe in, all right, but the elect know. The elect know what to believe in, and that's the Most High Yahweh, all right. So it says, verse 5, and having been a little chastised, they shall be greatly rewarded, for the Most High proved them and found them worthy for himself. All right? So you have to be worthy, man. You know? Lord willing, Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahushai keeps the spirit on us to keep pushing forward in this truth. You know? To be found worthy. Because you have to be found worthy, man. If you're found unworthy, then you're going to be put to death. You know? Simple as that. You're going to be put to death, man. And that's a terrible thing to fall into the hands of the Lord, man. He has a terrible, terrible power. You know? So it says, verse 6, as gold in the furnace hath he tried them, and received them as a burnt offering. All right? And also, what is that burnt offering? That's also going to be 2/3 of our people, man. 2/3 of our people are going to be burnt offerings. You know? That's when that destruction comes. Let me get that in Isaiah chapter 1. You know? This is Isaiah chapter 1 and verse 27. Zion shall be redeemed with judgment, and her converts with righteousness. All right? So that's what's coming, man. You know? We're going to be redeemed with judgment. You know? And the converts, which is the elect, with righteousness. All right? So they're going to be saved because of the righteousness. And 2/3 of Israel, all right, it's going to be redeemed by the fire, all right, the ICBMs, the missiles that Russia and these other nations are going to shoot at Babylon the Great. Verse 28, and the destruction of the transgressors and of the sinners shall be together, and they that forsake the Lord, Yahweh, shall be consumed, all right, consumed with what? With these missiles, you know? That's the destruction that's coming, man. You know? You have the persecution of the saints that's coming up. All right? Martial law that's going to be implemented. All right? The RFID chip that's going to be implemented. Famines, plagues, death, and destructions that are going to take over the world. And then finally salvation, you know? And salvation is coming for the Israelites that are of the elect, you know? Not all Israel is going to be saved, man. Not all Israel is going to be saved. You know? And that's something scary for these people to understand. So it says, verse 7, in the time of their visitation, they shall shine and run to and fro like sparks amongst the stubble. All right, one that can signify the elect. All right, that's also in the book of Daniel, chapter 12, and I believe verse 3, and the book of Matthew. All right, being as shining stars, man. You know, but also in the time of their visitation, that's talking about the missiles. You know, those that are redeemed by fire, that's talking about the missiles, man. You know, they shall shine and run to and fro like sparks amongst the stubble. Those are the missiles that are going to go up to the encampment of the saints. All right, and then it's going to rain fire. You know, which is also in Revelation 13, I believe. It says, they shall judge the nations and have dominion over the people, and their Lord Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai, shall reign forever. They that put their trust in him shall understand the truth, and such as be faithful in love shall abide with him. For grace and mercy is to his saints, and he hath care for his elect. You see? He has care for his elect. Not everybody. His elect. You know? So let me see. Go back to Revelations 13. Revelations chapter 13. Man. Salakia, bear with me. This is Revelations 13. And here. Revelations 13 and verse 6. And he opened his mouth in blasphemy against the Most High, to blaspheme his name and his tabernacle, and them that dwell in heaven. And it was given unto him to make war with the saints, to overcome them. And power was given unto him over all kindreds and tongues and nations. All right, so I went into how Esau Edom was going to have the dominion. You know? Let me get 2nd Ezra chapter 6 and verse 9. second book of Ezra, chapter 6 and verse 9. And it reads, "For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth." You see? So the Most High declared Esau to be the end, from the very beginning. He declared Esau Edom to be the end, man. So it is yet but a man's covenant, but yet if it be confirmed, no man disannulleth. You see, so going back to Revelations 13 and verse 8, "And all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him, whose names are not written in the book of life, and the Lamb slain from the foundation of the world." All right? Because whenever this man implements the RFID chip, all right, the mark of the beast, whenever this man implements it and you take it, all right, you're considering this man to be like the Most High. You're considering this man to be the Most High. You're paying allegiance unto this man, or you're in allegiance with this man. So it says, verse 11, "And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, had two horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon." All right? So he had two horns like a lamb. All right? Those two horns still belong to that lamb. Now that lamb, all right, a lamb seemingly is docile, all right, easy to manipulate. A lamb can't be a leader, man. A person that is seen as a lamb is a person that is docile. Lamb are led to the slaughter. So when Yahushua comes back, he's not going to come back as a lamb. All right? He's not going to meet you as a man. When Yahushua comes back, he's coming back as a force. He was a lamb. He came as a lamb. Humble. Docile. He was led to the slaughter. All right? They whooped him. They beat him. They killed him. All right? But him having the power given to him by the Most High, he came back. All right? Yahushua came back. And that's what finalized everything, man. When Yahushua came back, that was it. All right? We already have victory. That victory belongs to the elect. Yahushua first and foremost. So it says, verse 12 says, verse 11 again, "And I beheld another beast coming down up out of the earth, and he had two horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon." All right? So those two horns, all right, represent the plebeians and the patricians. All right? The plebeians and patricians nowadays would be the Democrats and the Republicans. They're one and the same, They try to act like they're, working for the lamb, but in reality, they're working as two horns, man, as two devils, So he speaks as a dragon. So seemingly, all right, seemingly he's harmless. Seemingly he's fighting for you. But in reality, his words are smoother than butter, but yet he had drawn swords. You know? Let me try and get that one. It's going to be the book of Psalms, chapter 55, and verse 20. Psalms 55 and verse 20. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. Is that not what Babylon the Great is all about? They're all about war. All right? Out of the 200-something years, all right, that America has been established, only 22 years, all right, only 22 years have they seen without war. All right? Out of 200 and something years, man, only 22 years have they had peace. The rest of the years has been nothing but war. Thou shalt live by thy sword. All right? And they're fulfilling it to the fullest, man. You know? They're fulfilling that to the fullest. It says, the words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords. Cast thy burden upon Yahweh, and he shall sustain thee. He shall never suffer the righteous to be moved. You see? So we're not ignorant of Satan's devices, man. Being that serpent that he is. You know? It says, but thou, O Lord, O my power, shall bring them down into the pit of destruction. Bloody and deceitful men shall not live out half their days, but I will trust in thee. You know? And that's where the trust of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai gets you. You know? That's where it gets you, man. It gets you to salvation. That destruction, that's only for the 2/3 and for Esau, Edom, man. You know, mainly for those two. Everybody else is going to suffer that is not part of the elect of Israel. You see? So going back to Revelation 13 and verse 12. And he exerciseth all the power of the first beast before him, and causeth the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. All right, that's why here in America you have nothing but documentaries about the Caesars. All right, nothing but documentaries about the Roman Empire. You know, because they see it as the great Roman Empire, man. You know, they have love for the Roman Empire. That's because that's their ancestors. Same thing with Jerusalem. The Jewish, all right, the Israelis, all right, they haven't taken down when the Romans ransacked Jerusalem, you know, which is just a statue, you know. That would be considered anti-Shemitic, all right? I consider that anti-Shemitic, all right? Because those belongings were of my people, of my nation, you know? So whenever they ransack Jerusalem, they haven't taken down that pillar that they put up, you know? Why? Because that's them. You see? They're the ones that did it. Which actually, let me bring that one out in Esdras, you know, that I wanted to bring out earlier. I don't know if I did or not. Chapter 2. This is First Ezra chapter 2 and verse 24. Wherefore now we declare unto thee, O Lord the King, that if this city be built again, and the walls thereof set up anew, thou shalt from henceforth have no passage unto Cilicia or Phoenice. Then the king wrote back unto Rathumus, the story writer, and Beeltimus, to Semelius, the scribe, and to the rest that were in commission, and dwellers in Samaria, and Syria, and Phoenice, after this manner. All right? So this is the heathen, man. All right? These are people that are against the building of the righteous. All right? Nowadays, it could be the 2/3 Edomites or any other nation. It says, I have read the epistle which ye sent to me. Therefore I command to make diligent search, and it hath been found that the city was from the beginning practicing against kings. All right? In reality, Israel wasn't practicing against kings. All right? But the Most High was for Israel, man. You know? So whatever the Most High commanded, go overtake Jericho. You know? We went up to Jericho, all right, and I believe it was for 7 days. It was nothing but vibrations and songs and enchantments, all right, and chanting unto the walls of Jericho. And in that 7th day, I believe, of the 7th year, the walls, they just fell down, you know? The same thing with these other Hamitic nations, you know? They were all taken down by Israel. The same with Ammon, all right? The Ammonites and the Moabites, all right? The Chinese and the Japanese. They had their land, all right? And whenever Israel fought them, they overtook that land because the Most High ordained it that way, you know? So here, Xerxes, all right, the king, he was thinking, that Israel was going to be, against him because of these people that spoke into his ear. So it says, city was from the beginning practicing against kings, all right, talking about Jerusalem. It says, and the men wherein were given to rebellion and war, and the mighty kings and fierce were in Jerusalem, who reigned and exacted tributes into Cilicia and in Phoenice. Now therefore I have commanded to hinder those men from building the city, and heed to be taken that there be no more done in it. All right? And those wicked workers proceeded no further for the annoyance of the kings. Then King Artaxerxes, his letters being read, Rathumus and Semelius, the scribe, and the rest were in commission with them, removing in haste towards Jerusalem with a troop of horsemen and a multitude of people in battle array, began to hinder the builders, and the building of the temple in Jerusalem ceased until the 2nd year of the reign of Darius, the king of the Persians. You see? So these people know that as soon as we come into power with the Most High, all right, that it's over. All right? He's going to fight for us, you know? And that's why you have people like Vocab Malone that is scared out of his mind, all right? Because he's thinking, well, what if I'm not an Israelite? All right? What if they're right? So he's fighting with nails. He's fighting with teeth, all right? With blood and tears to try and disprove and discredit the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. You know? Because he's afraid. He's afraid that what we're saying is true. He's afraid that what we're fighting for is the right doctrine, the correct doctrine, the righteous doctrine. All right? He's afraid that the good tidings that we're bringing, all right, is actually true for the nation of Israel. You know? These people are afraid, man. That's why they mock. That's why they scoff. They try to hinder us building the temple back then. All right? They try to hinder the Maccabees, you know, from succeeding and coming back to the power of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. And you had wicked Israelites that actually gave them up. Because people are afraid, man. You know? Truth is stranger than fiction. The truth is stranger than fiction, man. Imagine that. The most powerful person, or the most powerful being in the world, fighting for you. You know? The most powerful being in the universe fighting against you 2/3 and Edomites and you other nations. That's what you're afraid of, man. That's why you don't want this truth to be true. You know? That's why you mock and scoff the prophets. Because like you did back then, all right, like you did back then, you're trying to hinder us now from building up the third temple, which is a spiritual temple, not a physical temple. This is a spiritual temple, man. And you're trying to hinder us from doing that because you're afraid, you know? So let me go back. Revelations 13 and verse 13. And he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire to come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men. All right? So, why were these other nations afraid of Babylon the Great for so long, man? You know? Why were they so afraid? You know? Ask yourself that question and filter it through the scriptures, man. You know? Go into history. All right? In the Cold War, that was the beginning of the end of Babylon the Great. You know? That was the beginning of the end, man. All right? Because these other nations finally have the same technology that you have. You know? So you make fire to appear in front of men to come down from heaven, which is what? Nuclear weapons, nuclear missiles. All right? What you did to Nagasaki and Hiroshima, all right, over there in Japan, that's the only time, all right, that's the only time a nation has ever used nuclear weapons in war. The only time. And it was America who did it. All right? It was America who bombarded Nagasaki and Hiroshima. So after that, what happened? People gave up. Because they knew your strength. But it wasn't yours. All right? It was the Most High that gave it to you. He gave you that strength, man. You know? And you're over here boasting against the Most High. Boasting against his tabernacle, which are the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and to the scattered abroad. You're over here boasting yourself, thinking that you're greater, trying to be like the Most High. All right? Trying to say you're a God. But wilt thou say to those that are slaying you, I am a God? No, man. When that slavery comes into play, you're going to be afraid. So, actually, let me go back to that. This is Revelation 13:9. If any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. So the same thing that you did is going to pay back double. That recompense, man. That's what the Most High is coming back for. Recompense. All right? So jumping down again to verse 13. And he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men. All right? Which was what? The nuclear bombs that went off in Nagasaki and Hiroshima. All right? So verse 14. And deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth, that they should make an image to the beast, which had the wound by a sword and did live. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. All right? So if you don't want to bow down to NATO and the EU, they're going to go into your country and you're going to get destroyed. All right? That's just how it works. They go into Syria. They go into these other places, man. If they don't bow down to Babylon the Great, if they don't give up their resources, then guess what? They're going to go in there. They're going to destroy you. And they're going to replace you with somebody that is going to listen. I should make a video about this. But that show, The Walking Dead, Salaki.